What's good, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back to another F1 video. It's lovely Wednesday. It is indeed Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing good and amazing, doing very well. Obviously, we're in the mid-season break. So I've been watching like a lot of people's like mid-season breaks, like reviews, grades. I like them. Some are nice. Some are nice. Now there's some I actually forgot like how bad some of these drivers were or how decent. Like I watched one earlier. Nico Hulkenberg was actually having a solid season. I didn't know he was like P11 in the constructors, and like his last like what 2-3 races, I think he's been getting points. Like he's been actually in the top 10. So shout out to Nico Hulkenberg. Yes, Nico Hulkenberg is going to kick next season, but very. So far, good season from Nico Hulkenberg. Obviously, we know about like the crappy guys, this season. Sargent, Checo Perez, especially since his contract. But if you guys want to see like a little mid-season break, guys, let me know in the comments down below. We can happily get that out for you guys. But today, we're going back to our like upcoming new F1 drivers. No other than Paul Aron. Shout out to F1 Alpaca. All credit goes to him. Big time. Could be the next F1 superstar. Now, as you guys know, Ollie Behrman and Antonelli, with Behrman coming to Haas. So it should be. I'm not sure where Antonelli's going yet. I'm not sure if he has a spot for next year. But we are finna check out this Paul Aron. I really don't know too much about him. I've seen him. Mike, let's check him out. So we are finna check him out. Don't forget to like the video and sub as well, boys and girls. Whew. That's a lot of talking. Let's get started.
Formula 2 is the main feeder series for Formula 1. The majority of the current F1 drivers came through Formula 2, so all the F1 teams keep a sharp eye on the F2 drivers and their performances. While everyone is focused on drivers like Kimi Antonelli and Oliver Behrman right now, one driver who is making significant strides in the championship is going unnoticed. That driver is Paul Aron. Who is Paul Aron and what's so special about him? Why am I making a video on him rather than Antonelli, who is currently being compared to a young Max Verstappen? Well, let's find out in this video. Paul was born in Tallinn, Estonia. His father, Mart Aron, was involved in racing motorcycles around city tracks, which had a significant influence on Paul and his brother Ralph, who also pursued a career in motorsport and currently competes in GT series. Like many drivers, Paul began his racing journey very early on. By the age of 8, he was competing in karting championships all over Europe, particularly in Italy. He won the CIK FIA European Championship as well as the Champions Cup in 2018. Paul made the jump from karting to the Italian F4 Championship in 2019 with Prema Racing and finished third in the standings with 2 wins and a total of 8 podiums to his name. Dennis Hauger dominated the field that year and won the championship. Not to discredit Dennis, but he was coming from a full season in British Formula 4, which I think gave him a significant edge over the others. Paul was also edged out of second place by his teammate Gianluca Peterkoff, who was in his second year of Italian F4. As a rookie, Paul did a fantastic job. In the same year, he also competed in the ADAC Formula 4 Championship, where he finished 7th with 2 wins. During this time,
The ADAC 4 Championship. Like, I tell you guys, I know I said before, but the amount of just different motorsport like competitions we have is freaking incredible, man. I still to this day always just surprise me of like how many we have in Italy, France, Germany, England, US, Japan, China. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, man.
Paul was signed by Mercedes into their F1 junior team. Following a post-season test with ART team at Paul Ricard in November 2019, Paul was signed to their new Formula Renault Eurocup team for the 2020 season. That season proved challenging for Paul as he finished 11th in the standings while his teammate Victor Martins won the championship. It's important to note that it was Victor Martins' 3rd year in Formula Renault, so he clearly had experience on his side. Paul's only podium of the season came in Germany, where he finished 2nd. For 2021, Paul returned to Prema to compete in the Formula Regional European Championship, where he partnered with David Vidales and Ferrari Drivers Academy junior Dino Beganovic. Paul finished 3rd in the standings behind Gregoire Saucy and Hadrian David, with 2 wins and 5 podiums. He outperformed both his teammates, with David finishing 10th and Dino 13th. In 2022, Paul remained in the Formula Regional European Championship with Prema, again finishing 3rd in the standings while his teammate Dino Beganovic won the title.
Baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do.
Paul appeared to be a genuine title contender that season, but a few mistakes and some bad luck on track cost him a shot at the championship. Paul also competed in the Formula Regional Asian Championship that year, where he finished 8th in the standings. For 2023, Paul stepped up to the F1
bro. So bro was just driving like a lot, just different competitions, getting that experience, stuff like that. You see with like in certain competitions, like that one competition, like his first one after like karting. I think he came like in third, but the guy who won it had like a year or two over him. Then like the other one, which Victor Martin had like his teammate had like 3 years in that competition. That's why I'm like, bro, how you still in there? Why you not getting caught up yet to like a bigger, better one, stuff like that. And then it does seem like a tad bit bad luck. I'm not gonna say like he's like aggressive on like the track. He could be like like he could be like a little of a stopping like aggressive, but he's still trying to learn like his his skills. He's still trying to learn like his traits, stuff like that. But so far, man, Paul looks good. He
FIA
looks
Formula
good.
3 Championship with Prima,
For Mercedes
partnering
junior
with his
team?
old rival teammate Dino Beganovic and the experienced Zach O'Sullivan.
Bro,
Despite
holy
starting the
shit.
season strongly, Paul lost a lot of points due to silly mistakes, penalties, and bad luck.
So
His
beat
performances
himself,
were quite
ooh.
consistent, but at times he failed to capitalize on big opportunities. Paul finished the season in third place, while Gabriel Bortoleto won the championship.
That's not bad.
His
Third
teammate
place,
Zach
though.
O'Sullivan pipped him for second place in the final race at Monza. It was the fourth time he finished a championship in third place. He has come close to winning the title many times, but failed to clinch it completely. Paul also took part in the Macau Grand Prix in 2023, where he qualified 7th but suffered a huge crash in the main race that tore his car in half.
Oh my
In 2023, Mercedes dropped Paul from their junior program to focus more on Kimi Antonelli and to prepare him for F1. Was that the right decision? I don't think so. Yes, Antonelli's junior record so far has been brilliant, plus he's 3 years younger than Paul, so it's understandable why he gets the preference.
And bro, like
However,
14,
Paul's
15.
record is impressive too. I think they should have kept him
16.
as well, as he has been one of the best junior drivers in recent years. Perhaps there were resource constraints that influenced Mercedes' decision to focus on one driver. Anyway, moving on to 2024, Paul jumped to Formula 2 with High-Tech Racing, partnering with Amory Cordial, who was in his third season of Formula 2. Having an experienced driver as his teammate wasn't going to be easy for Paul, but he has surprised everybody so far. As I have mentioned many times in my previous videos, this year's F2 lineup is filled with talented drivers and is predicted to be one of the best and closest seasons in the history of Formula 2. The grid includes drivers like Kimi Antonelli, Dennis Hauger, Isaac Hadjar, Zane Maloney, Zach O'Sullivan, Kush Maney, Oliver Behrman, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Victor Martins. Let's take a look at how
That
the
just
season's
sounds
been so
talented.
far.
And-
In the first race in
and I
Bahrain,
only know, like,
Paul
3
qualified
drivers.
12th in a challenging session, but made an excellent recovery in the sprint, finishing 5th. In the main race, pole sitter Bortoleto made contact with second-place driver
That's what the
Hadjar
cars do,
at the
jeez.
first corner of lap 1, causing both to drop down the field. Paul, with a brilliant launch and by avoiding the drama at the front, gained several positions and jumped to 6th by the end of the first lap, and then overtook the front runners to secure the final podium spot. In Jeddah, Paul qualified 10th but was moved up to 9th as pole sitter Oliver Behrman had to withdraw from the round to step in for Carlos Sainz in the Formula 1 race.
Facts.
This placed Paul on pole position for the sprint race, but he was overtaken by the fast-charging Richard Verschoor and Dennis Hauger. Verschoor was later disqualified, promoting Paul to second place. In the feature race, Paul faced a tough challenge with numerous safety cars and finished in 10th place. On a demanding circuit like Jeddah, Paul didn't make any mistakes and kept it clean throughout the whole weekend.
20 laps
At the
is
third
crazy.
round in Australia, he qualified in a brilliant 6th place. In the sprint race, he made 3 places after the crash between Marti and Bortoleto at the start. However, he soon got tangled with Richard Verschoor after Verschoor, and Antonelli made contact right in front of him. This gravel trip damaged Aron's car and he started dropping down the field, ultimately finishing the sprint in last place. However, fortune turned for Aron in the feature race where he finished in second place after overtaking Antonelli, who struggled to keep up. Imola was another great weekend for Aron. He qualified in a decent 8th on the grid. With a brilliant launch off the line, he immediately took the lead in the sprint, starting from 3rd. He led the sprint until the last lap when Colapinto's brave move around the outside of turn 2 saw him snatch the win from Aron. In the feature race, after losing a
I'll say though, from looking at like the clips and stuff like that, it seems like F2 is very, very aggressive. Like, and that's probably why like there's probably like a bit more like incidents or accidents, like crashes, whatever in F2, like we have seen. But it just seemed like a lot of shows are like a lot aggressive. Plus, it seemed like it's like a lot more cars on the F2 grid as well. But it's like it's lower tracks still. Like the tracks
place at the
seem
start.
like
Aron made a good
like Jeddah was
recovery
like
and
Australia was
finished
like
6th,
what 20
bringing home
laps?
important points. And in the last race weekend in Monaco, he qualified in a brilliant 4th place, narrowly missing out on pole by less than 1/10 of a second. He finished the sprint race in 7th place, In the feature race, Aron jumped into third place after a slow start from Victor Martins. The race leader Richard Verschoor suffered some issues and retired, which promoted Aron to second place behind Hadjar.
Look how close
However,
he
a
is.
late safety car allowed Zach O'Sullivan, the only driver who was yet to pit at that time, a cheap pit stop and enabled him to jump both Hadjar and Aron. That
Damn.
podium finish in Monaco put Aron into the lead of the championship, with Hadjar trailing in second, just 2 points behind.
Oh, he was
He's
hooping for
outqualified his
real.
teammate Cordeal, who is currently 17th in the standings in nearly every single race. He hasn't won any race yet, but has secured plenty of podiums, and most of the time can be seen fighting at the front. Given his form, I think the first F2 win is not too far away. The thing that impresses me the most about Paul is his consistency. He has scored points in every single race so far this season, except the sprint race in Melbourne. He is the only one so far this season who has been able to do that. The closest rivals of Paul in the championship right now are Hadjar and Maloney, both of whom are in incredible form this season with plenty of experience on their side. Then there are guys like Ollie Behrman and Dennis Hauger who are also very talented drivers. And let's not forget the guy who's sending shockwaves in the Formula One world and is expected to drive for the Mercedes F1 team next year, Kimi Antonelli. So far, Kimi has failed to impress with his performance in Formula 2. He's sitting 6th in the championship, 32 points behind the leader. If Paul manages to outperform...
And you know what's crazy is that he's leading the F2 stands without like having a win. But like you said, like he's been finishing points every single race, even like the sprint race and stuff, like bar one sprint race. That's freaking good. Like that's consistency. Consistency. Shout out Paul Aron, man.
Kimi this season, that would be quite a statement to show the world his potential. Even if Paul loses the championship but finishes in the top 4 in his rookie season, I think that would be a win for him because many of the top drivers in F2 are in their second or third season. Paul also took part in the Berlin rounds of the Formula E Championship, substituting for Sebastian Buemi of the Envision Racing team, where he finished 13th and 14th respectively. Now on to the real question, does Paul have what it takes to be a Formula One driver? And the answer is yes. I think Paul has just as much potential as drivers like Antonelli and Behrman. Sure, he hasn't won any championships in recent years, but he has always been very close and consistently in the top 3. So far, he's been outperforming more experienced F2 drivers and is leading the championship in his rookie season, which is quite an accomplishment. If he continues like this, I'm sure he'll be in contention for the championship until the end of the season. I think Paul's the real deal. He's fast, he's talented, and most importantly, he's very clever on track. He's not yet signed by any F1 team, but I definitely think teams should pick him up. The teams are not aware of what they are missing. I believe he's a very promising talent, and it would be a big loss if he doesn't make it to Formula One. I really hope Paul...
I wonder if we could see Paul this season, next season, is there a chance we do? But so he looks good, solid driver, solid potential, very good driver in Formula 2 for his first season as well, compared to the other drivers who are, like you said, are in their second, third year. You guys know that guys talked about Paul Aron in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, sub as well. Boys and girls, stay safe. Peace.